123rd Chronospin Day of the Expedition. Airship Mazuria 7. Private log to the onboard clock memory. Captain Jaira.
We journey now through the endless ocean for 72 days without any sign of life. Only minor anomalies spotted during our unending flight over unmoving, violet waters. Sometimes it seems like we are not moving at all, only hanging in the air. The crew grows increasingly restless with each passing day. The monotony of our journey is beginning to take its toll on their morale. I can see it in their faces as they move about the ship, listless and slumped. They seem to have lost all sense of time and purpose. Even I, who have spent my entire life in the skies, am beginning to feel the weight of the emptiness that surrounds us. The violet waters seem to stretch on endlessly, as if we have been swallowed by some great cosmic beast, lost in its belly forever.
Alert! Anomaly detected. Collusion trajectory. Impact in 12 minutes. Mateo Brigade log. Elena Wint, cruise meteorologist and anomalist.
Weather alert to all stations. Anomaly code 369. This is not a drill. Repeat. Anomaly code 369. This is not a drill. Prepare for impact in 11 minutes.
Elena Wint's private log to the onboard clock memory.
This anomaly was unlike anything I saw before. As soon as we got inside of it, I couldn't stop looking through the cockpit window. The lightnings around us swirled beautifully. I became meteorologist just to see such wonders of nature. For a moment, I completely forgot about the danger that it posed to Mazuria. But as the seconds ticked by, the reality of the situation began to set in. As I watched the sensors go crazy, I couldn't stop but feel a sense of dread wash over me. What I was witnessing was the most marvelous thing I ever was able to experience. But at the same time, it was the most threatening thing. There was no telling what kind of damage this collision could cause to our ship, and the safety of my fellow crew members was at stake. I was quickly exchanging information with the Navigator's Brigade on the intercom, trying to determine how we should position Mazuria to the inevitable impact. The anomaly showed patterns that could be exploited for our advantage, but only with precise maneuvering. The whirlwind consisted with ribbons of water and storming clouds. The anomaly resembled those of Class B-45. It had to work like a cyclone. If we could get into the center of it, we would be safe in the calm eye of the storm. In our current position, that meant putting Mazuria into water sail mode and try to glide between water and lightning clouds. With each passing minute, the winds grew stronger and the violet waters began to churn violently. The lightning strikes around the whirlwater intensified, illuminating the dark skies in an eerie glow. It was as if we were flying straight into the maw of a monster, ready to swallow us whole. I observed this magnificent phenomenon without blink of an eye as we drew closer and closer. The sound of the wind and thunder was deafening. The huge ribbons of ocean water raced with enormous speed towards the skies. And I could feel the ship trembling beneath me. I knew that navigators would do everything they can to hit the anomaly in the least damaging way. But I also knew there was no possibility of avoiding the direct impact. Unfortunately, there was no time to fly above or dive below the anomaly.
Private log to the onboard clock memory. Bartosz Rosny, crew's first navigator.
As soon as the alarm sounded, I knew there was no way of avoiding the impact. According to Elena, all we could do is to steer Mazuria in such a way that we pass through the anomaly and get into its center as soon as possible. I will not lie that despite the mortal danger, I was glad that something was happening and I could finally do something. Excitement and adrenaline ran through my veins. We worked quickly, communicating with each other through the intercom, trying to determine the best course of action. Captain Jaira stood next to me coordinating communication with all stations. The winds were picking up and the waters were becoming more tumultuous by the second. It was a race against time, and we knew that we had to act fast. I barked orders at the crew, my voice barely audible over the roar of the winds and the thunderous sound of the ocean twister. We had to move fast if we were going to survive this. I could feel the tension in the air as we all prepared for the impact. The ship shook violently as we entered the anomaly. I held on tight to the control panel, my knuckles turning white from the strain. The winds were pushing us in every direction, making it difficult to maintain our course. But I was determined to get us through this. Mazuria touched one of the water ribbons and surfed on it like on a huge wave. I observed the sensors. We were slowly spiraling towards the center. Our plan seemed to have worked. As we moved deeper into the world water, the lightning strikes became more frequent and intense. The ship was being battered from all sides, but we held on. And then, just as suddenly as it had started, we pushed through into the center. Calm air and silence hit us almost as hard as the storm did few minutes ago.
Private log to the onboard clock memory. Marta Kress, cruise medic and biologist.
The sudden silence that engulfed us was almost deafening. I could hear the sound of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears as I tried to adjust to the lack of sound. We had made it into the center of the anomaly, but at what cost? I quickly made my way around the ship, checking on the crew members and assessing any injuries. To my surprise, everyone seemed to be okay. There were a few bumps and bruises, but nothing too serious. As I made my way back to the cockpit, I couldn't help but think about what we had just experienced. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before. The way the winds had twisted and turned, and the lightning that lit up the sky was almost mystical. But as a biologist, I couldn't help but wonder about the impact this experience would have on us. The human psyche is a fragile thing, and I couldn't help but think that this encounter with the anomaly would have a lasting effect on our crew. The constant monotony of our journey had already a significant psychological effect on us all. The sudden burst of danger and excitement that high after such prolonged period of boredom could make an undesirable impact on some of our crewmates. I made a mental note to keep a close eye on the crew in the coming days and weeks. I would need to monitor them for any signs of psychological distress or trauma. We had survived this anomaly, but this was a hefty push against our resilience.
Private log to the onboard clock memory. Captain Jara.
We made it through the water twister. I'm glad to report that the Mazuria 7 survived the impact with only minor damages. The crew members are shaken but alive, and that's all that matters. After few hours of hovering inside the anomaly, it dissipated into ethereal space it came from. As I look out over the violet waters, I can't help but feel a sense of wonder and awe. We just encountered something that no one has ever seen before. It's moments like this that make all the hardships of our journey seem worth it. After the tedium of our travel, such an occurrence would give us plenty to talk about for weeks to come. That is, unless something else happens before then.